What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Unbelievable Podcast. Listen, if you don't know by now, this is the best show in town, and we about to show you why, all right? We are here on the Buffalo Media Network, best network in the city, and we about to show you why on that piece, too. All right, now check it out. Before we get into the intro, before we hop into the show, you need to know what's coming. We're going to get into the value of the running back and how that's just – what do we think about that right now? Because it's kind of gotten crazy, right? We're also going to get into aging players on the Buffalo Bills, and we're going to get into a few other things from there. So make sure you tune in, make sure you lock in, and get ready for the show.
I might have to let it drop. Let it drop. I might have to let it drop.
All right, folks. So let me welcome you to the Unbelievable Podcast. This is show number 1 on the Buffalo Media Network. All right. I'm your co-host, Aramis. Real quick, I got my boy here with me.
I'm just going to go Keyshawn right now.
He's going to go
just
Keyshawn.
Just for right now. We might get a little freaky.
We're going to figure out what the monikers are going to be here going forward. Huh?
We might. Never know.
All right, look. It's time to get busy with this Buffalo Bills stuff. There's a lot of NFL news coming up. Free agency is right around the corner, and we got a lot to talk about with not a lot of time. This is only an hour-long show, so we're going to hop right into it. I really am very interested with this conversation on the value of the running back because, I mean, Saquon Barkley is killing it right now. He's open. He's busting the doors wide open on this money conversation for running backs.
So did you see – is my mic on? Yeah, I'm on. Okay. Did you see what James Cook did when Saquon Barkley got signed?
He retweeted it, didn't he?
He tweeted out and he said, "I love you, Buffalo," with a red heart and a blue heart. So let's go through this again for the people that haven't seen us before. I'm the James Cook stan.
Okay.
And you're like, you're kind of in it, but not. I don't know. But I mean. Now, like I said, with Saquon Barkley's hefty bump, what do you say about $15 million for James Cook, his average value? I mean, everybody talked about how much the percentage was, and they want to spend it however they want to spend it so that they can justify why James Cook is not worth the $15 million price tag. What say you now? With the new salary cap, what are we at? 277 and some change, something like that? Was that what 279 and change?
Yes, 279.2, I think it was.
279.2 and a little bit of change, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
If you take what James Cook is making now compared to the cap, which is 4%, you know what he'd be making on the new one?
What's that?
$11 million. $11 million is 4%. Of $277 million.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. What did he ask for?
He asked for 15.
15. The window dressing number, that $4 million buffer.
Well, with the money that Saquon is getting right now, it could be higher.
It could, but he asked for 15.
Okay.
So we were kicking our heels and pouting about 15 mil for a guy. Oh, by the way, one of 12 players in the history of the NFL to have less than 210 carries, over 1,000 yards, and over 10 touchdowns in a season. One of 12 players. We're going back to Icky Woods. We're going back to Raheem Mostert last year. We're going back to guys I've never heard of before.
Yeah.
From the 50s. He's in that class. So $15 million, 4% of his contract. Saquon Barkley is now over almost 7% of his contract. Almost 7% of the cap. You know, Derrick Henry, he's I think 5 and some change. So let's rethink this. Christian McCaffrey is the only outlier here. Christian McCaffrey is like 3 point something percent. But what they did with him was they gave him a huge guarantee.
Right.
So we're talking about James Cook at $60 million over 4 years. And I went through this. I said, let's look. I always compare James Cook to who? Alvin Kamara.
That's fair.
All right,
that's fair.
Because I thought James Cook was going to be the kind of guy that had the receiving numbers and not really so much rushing because everybody talked about how small he was, how pitiful size he was. So I said, all right, let's see who's a bona fide receiving running back. So I said, Kamara. So if I look at my notes here, if I can read them correctly, Alvin Kamara, his third year was 2019. James Cook, 2024 season was his third year, correct? Alvin Kamara, what did he do? He had, do I have it here? He had his breakout season. He had, I think, 100 receptions. No. He had a bunch of receptions. He had, matter of fact, let me look at it because I do have it. I'm sorry. Just pull it up real fast for the people at home. Alvin Kamara, his third season, he had 171 rushes, 797 yards for 4.7 yards an attempt, 5 touchdowns, 81 receptions, 533 yards, and 1 touchdown. James Cook, the same third season, 207 carries, 1,000 yards, 4.9 a carry, 16 rushing touchdowns, 32 receptions, 258 yards, 8.1 a reception, and 2 touchdowns. Why do I say this? Because I don't know if you remember what Alvin Kamara did in 2020. He signed a contract for how much now? 5 years, $75 million. Now, everybody wants to talk about the percentage, right? They want to talk about, oh, man, we can't afford to pay James Cook because he doesn't do everything. Mm-hmm. But Kamara made $15 million 5 years ago.
Well, to be fair, and I don't want to stand in the way of the progress of your point because I love where it's going. Mm-hmm. But the caveat, I'm the caveat king.
You can't caveat. Not on this show. We're not doing it today. That's Monday.
I have to. It's in my DNA.
Go ahead. I got 4 minutes.
Right. Exactly. The caveat to that would be Alvin Kamara for his team was the guy after Drew Brees left. He was the only playmaker there. Mm-hmm. On this team, James Cook is
number 2 to the quarterback.
Right. So 5 years, 75.
Well, what I'm saying is, if everybody wants to talk about the percentage, we're not looking at the number.
Okay,
the percentage.
I get it.
If Alvin Kamara got that on 5 years ago's salary cap, whatever it was, we shouldn't be kicking our heels and pouting about 15 for Cook 5 years in the future. To go further with this, I'm sorry. Where is my stuff? To go further with this point.
Where's your stuff?
What I'm trying. What's up?
No, I'm just repeating what you said.
I like stuff.
Yeah. Sweat says, to be honest, the Bills should have re-signed Cook for $15 million at the end of the season.
That was another point I was going to make. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and say, all right, we're going to go ahead and play the eyes of James Cook's an anomaly. I thought everybody loved Josh Allen. I thought everybody was Josh Allen this, Josh Allen that. Josh Allen's Robin is James Cook. Why is it that people want to say James Cook is not worth the value when James Cook is the most reliable thing Josh Allen has besides his own feet?
Well, okay, so I'll give you another caveat. Technically, he wasn't that last season. James Cook. And when I say last season, I mean the 2023-24 season. When Steph Diggs was still here, Steph Diggs was the number one weapon, so to speak, on the team, right? And James Cook was finally stepping into a full-time role where he wasn't sharing with another running back, right? Because his rookie season he shared with Singletary. But I think stepping into this season, he proved he could be that dude. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if we can put this singular year in a vacuum and say he did it this season that automatically puts him there, because we don't know. Like, again, for me, this comes down to what the Buffalo Bills plan for these players is, because it's real easy to let a guy get his $5 million so that he can feel good about himself in a contract year and then sign for less money because, oh, well, hey, look, man, your first 2 years when you were here, you weren't doing as good as your last as your contract year.
I'm glad you said that.
Okay.
Glad you said that, because I got like 1 minute left here. So where I'm going with this is, everybody says James Cook is puny. James Cook is 5'11", 190. Christian McCaffrey is 5'11", 205. So Cook only had 41% of his snaps in his short career, 48% last year. 48. People don't want to talk about the 48. They say 44, whatever. So that 4% is big. Now, how come nobody's bringing up that Cook played 55% of his snaps in his first season as a full-time starter? Now, if you're going to tell the whole tale, would you like to play a game real fast? Sure you would. I have numbers that have no name or face. 2016, player had 27% of snaps. 2017, player had 40% of snaps. 2018, player had 41. 2019 and 20, over 60%, 71%, I'm sorry. 2022, 67%, 23 and 24, under 60 again. You think you know who that is?
No.
Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry in his first 3 seasons had less of a percentage of carries than James Cook.
Wow.
And furthermore, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey have always had a fullback.
Okay. Here's what people would say about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry sucked his first 2 years. He didn't really come into his own until the end of year 3.
Right.
Then he was King Henry.
Right. So James Cook came into his own with the 16 touchdowns at the end of year 3, supposedly.
Okay. I mean, to me, that was more usage than.
Are you sure? Because it's only 41%.
Well, yeah.
It's only 41%.
What was his usage the year before?
55. Well, you're talking about James Cook, right?
Yeah.
55. His first year to start was 55%.
55.
So they dropped him 13%. I'm sorry, 7%.
In his second year.
In last year. Last year he dropped 7%. He had 48% last year.
This year or
this past year he was 48%. The year before that, 55%. His first year after Singletary left.
Interesting. So he had less opportunities, I guess, and produced more.
So I want to add to that because everybody talks about his 41% for his career.
Mm-hmm.
His first year he had 25% behind Devin Singletary and whoever else you want to add in there. So that's why that brings that number down further. If we do research, we would know this. Now, I know, but
not everybody does research. That's part of the problem.
That's the thing. You do research. You hear what people say.
Yeah.
You hear what the guys you respect say. You don't have to respect me. You don't even like me. I don't care. That's fine. I like you. But the thing is, when I look at this stuff, I'm looking to, okay, what are we really talking about? Because at first, $15 million, that sounds crazy. Fine. You know, James Cook, $15 million. He's a little dude, but he's the same size as Christian McCaffrey.
We still thinking about the year 2000 salaries.
Right.
You know, like
right.
running backs make, $2.3 million and they supposed to be happy.
And they supposed to be happy. Man, see, Buffalo can't have nice things.
That's true.
That's the thing. We can't indulge. We can't splurge. We can't get that PlayStation 6 when the PlayStation 5 is out. Treat yourself. This on an offense that only needs one weapon, a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
This is something you can do. But see, what people are doing is they're thinking about Myles Garrett. They're thinking about, what can we have on the other side? No. That's for your head coach to figure out. That's what your defensive coordinators to figure out because they're the masterminds on that side.
Yeah.
What they're doing right now by signing James Cook is what I thought you should be doing. You should be spending your money on the other side that you're not a professional one. You know something about it.
Yeah.
And even McDermott said in his press conference, that's something that's why I'm being in them to get done, but I'm sure something will happen. I'm waiting. Now I'm fine with letting 2025 play out. But if it plays out anything like 2 years ago or some kind of mix of 2 years ago and last year, the price tag's gonna go up.
Yeah.
Along with other running backs.
What is the franchise tag amount for running backs right now?
That I don't have. Right now, I would say the average of the top 10 running backs?
Yes.
So I'm not sure of.
Okay, we'll find out right now.
While you're doing that, I can give more useless information.
Oh, look at that! For 2025, it's $13.6 million.
Wow, 13 points. So we're scaffing over 1.4 mil.
Yeah, I mean, look at where wide receiver salaries are going, and look at what T. Higgins just got. He got $25 million. That for a number 2 receiver is actually not bad money considering the number 1 guys are making $10 million more than that right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the deal that Max Crosby just got, $35 million. You better believe Myles Garrett is going to be expecting more than that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even if it's only for 3 years, you still got to pay 30 years. So you're talking about a 3-year, $100 million deal, basically.
Yeah, Max Crosby 33.5. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I mean that leads into my other topic. So I'm gonna leave that alone for now. But right now I'm gonna say we don't have a Cook problem. We have a GM arrogance yet again. That 17 can do it all alone. 17 is not. He's 29. This is age 29 season. 17 needs help, and I'm sure 17 won't tell you, but Haley Steinfeld will tell 17. It's about time you demand more. It's about time.
Yeah,
and he needs to get it. If you respect him, you'll give it to him.
Right. I you know what? I think the essence or the heart of the point and I think I'm with you. The point that we, have arrived to through, establishing the goal of the point, poking holes in it, and arriving at the final answer. You have to pay the playmakers on your team. And James Cook has shown himself, whether you think he's worth the money or not, he's shown himself to be one of those guys that in key moments, especially in an AFC championship game, you are a touchdown down without the play he made. Mm-hmm. You can go ahead and take 7 off the board if you're not going to pay this man, right? Yeah. So that matters. And regardless if it's a running back, it could be a fullback who was out there running 2-yard touchdowns like the fridge. Mm-hmm. And you know what I'm saying? If that dude wanted more money, guess what? That's one of your playmakers you got to pay the dude. Yeah. And there's a big difference between, we want Mac Hollins to be a playmaker for us. He actually wasn't a playmaker. He was a consistent player. He was a foundational player that you could use that year to build off of and to give space to your playmakers to make plays, because now you have a consistent, viable option that you can go to when everybody's focused on your playmakers.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
He's proven. And the last point I want to make on James Cook, if you talk about – and I didn't want to cut you off. I just know I'm trying to stay where we're supposed to be. The last point I wanted to make about Cook in this regard is everybody says how bad of a pass blocker he is. Okay.
What do the numbers say?
Christian McCaffrey has been in the league since 2017. Mm-hmm. Christian McCaffrey has only 385 pass blocking snaps in his NFL career. That boils down to what? So you're going, we'll just say 7 years by 385. Roughly, what is that? That's 60, 50-something snaps a season. Mm-hmm. So 50-something snaps a season, you tell me they only had 50 third downs in the whole season? Because this is not just third downs. Why does he have what's considered the best fullback in the league on his team? Why does Derrick Henry have what's considered one of the best fullbacks in the league on his team?
You know what I think is a stabbing question, like a question that, like, when I ask this question, you're going to be like, damn. Mm-hmm. If our offense was rated so highly and so highly respected and touted, why did we need a running back to stay in and block for our quarterback? Our quarterback has the lowest sack percentage in the league.
Right.
Why do you need a running back to stay in and block for that guy? Furthermore, why do you need your running backs to have that skill set when they're better served doing other things behind the great offensive line you have and behind the quarterback that almost never gets sacked?
Yeah. I mean, they're called a running back for a reason. Only in Buffalo do we believe in the narrative that our second and third string have to be teams guys.
Right.
Only in Buffalo do we believe that everybody has to be everything. The wide receiver is great, but he can't block, can't play. We saw that with who? With Isaiah Hodgins when he was actually good. Why didn't he make the team? Because he can't play teams. That's crazy. Because I bet you Isaiah Hodgins was better than some of the wide receivers we had last year.
Right.
So at the end of it all, what is the evaluation process? Are we talking about what their secondary skill is or what they were brought into the league good to do? Because anybody can tackle if you play defense. Everybody knows how to tackle. If you have a special teams coordinator worth salt, you can get Olafashio in there. You can get Joe Andreessen in there. And they don't have to have had that knack. You coach them up.
Yeah.
Because they keep changing the rules in the NFL for the kickoff so you can make plays. Kick the ball through the end zone. How many plays are they actually on the field anyway?
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. We got to think about this stuff. You can't just think about, oh man, this is coach speak. This is what they said, so this is true. Why is it true? That's how I look at it. Why is it true?
Yep.
Who said? How many teams are doing this?
That's why this show is the show for the critically thinking fan. If you are the type of person that asks the questions, why something happened, how something happened, it's not as simple as, oh, this player is great for the Bills because they wear the jersey. No. Why are they great? What makes them great? How are they great? These are the questions you need to be able to answer if you're going to really get down to some of the root reasons why the team is good and the root reasons why the team is bad. And that's what we're here to get to the bottom of every single time we come to this microphone. So, with that being said, Sweat says Cook has proven he's worth the $15 million. Bills fans look.
Just read it how you see it.
Bills fans to look back over the last couple of years of Cook run/catch game. The Dallas The Dallas game is a great example of why Cook deserves to get paid.
Yeah.
100%. We got to transition. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but
I'm trying to stay with you, man.
Yeah.
I can get passionate.
and I can talk forever. But to just kind of bring a close to the point, you got to pay the man. You got to pay the man. As much as it would be nice to kind of dance around the issue and say, well, we could let him go and blah, blah, blah. Sure. But there's no guarantee that Ray Davis with a full workload is going to be able to step right in and do everything that James Cook did in the run game.
Then you're talking about possibly not having Ty Johnson.
Right. So it would literally be all on Ray Davis and whoever the Buffalo Bills sign. And there's no
Frank Gore Jr.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not to say that, the job of a running back is so difficult that another guy can't come in and help, but you still,
Cook is special.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Cook is special, and I think that's the point we're trying to make here. Mark says if we can pay Knox $15 million a year, we can give that to Cook. That's
I like this show. I like this show, man. I like this.
Already. So, all right. Let's transition over into free agency, okay? Because that is literally right around the corner, and we are now seeing certain options close for the Buffalo Bills. Max Crosby is no longer on the table.
I think I can merge my point into this. Okay, I like this.
Okay, sure. And I think where the Bills sit with cap space, as much as people want to believe the right move is Myles Garrett, I'm here to tell everybody the right strategy right now is DK Metcalf.
You better duck.
That's fine.
That's
fine. And I'm gonna tell you exactly why. So when you look at the defense that the Buffalo Bills put on the field the last 3 seasons, has it been good? It's been all right.
Yeah, no.
It's been all right.
Mm-hmm.
We played against bad competition.
Mm-hmm.
For what we're seeing in the AFC East alone, all 3 of those other teams are still about 2 years away from really posing a threat to the Bills, especially if the Jets are, according to my NFL source, going after Justin Fields with all their heart and soul. Mm-hmm. Okay? So if the Jets get Justin Fields, that's an easy game for McDermott to scheme, right? Playing against Miami, easy game for McDermott to scheme, especially with Tyreek Hill taking himself off the roster, basically.
Right.
Looking at the Patriots and what they're putting together. You about to produce some music, bro?
No, I'm about to craft something.
So looking at the Patriots and what they're putting together, Mike Vrabel's a good coach, but again, he's still 2 years away from posing any real danger. They got a good quarterback, but they need pieces. They have no receivers right now. So unless they trade for somebody, my point in saying all this is, defensively, we can still win our division with no problem at all with an all right defense. And last year we had an all right defense. Okay? So if we take our time in building this defense and we make the offense elite with an elite playmaker outside in a guy like DK Metcalf, who is not only physically imposing down the field, but just as physically imposing on shorter plays, that opens things up for Keon Coleman. You know DK Metcalf can block his butt off. You know he's a playmaker. You know he's a go-to guy. That completely opens things wide for Shakir in the middle. Keon Coleman, no pressure on him whatsoever, because now the pressure is going to be on Shakir, Metcalf, and Cook. You already got your two go-to receivers. You got your running back that can make plays. Keon Coleman is going to be your 4th guy, basically, in that offense. That's exactly where Gabe Davis was excelling. When we had Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley, and Steph Diggs, he didn't have to do much. He came in on a few plays here and there, made some sideline catches, and it looked great, and we loved him for it. We almost gave him $14 million for it, right? So all of this is to say, the value of getting a huge upgrade like a DK Metcalf on the offense is worth more right now in the grand scheme of where the Bills are in their build than it is for them to go all in on defense. I understand that defense wins championships, But when you're talking about what we needed to do and what we needed to be able to do in that AFC Championship game, we needed to be able to score points at will. That's really what it came down to. We've always kind of been neck and neck with the Chiefs. We've never had a better offense than what they had. Mm-hmm. We've always had an offense that could keep up, but we've never been better than them. And what we saw with that Eagles offense is they had an offense that was better than the Chiefs' defense. And right now, I think we need that for Josh more than we need a defense for McDermott. Call me crazy, but I'd rather invest in the guy that I know can get it done rather than to invest in the guy that we've already invested in and has shown us that not only is he not getting the right players from his GM, but he hasn't been able to be dominant in the playoffs with the guys that he's had.
Yeah, I mean, the only pushback I would have to that is the cost down line. You know, if you're talking about T. Higgins getting $26 million a season, you're talking about other guys who are making upwards almost $40 million. With DK Metcalf, it's 28, 20, yeah, something like that.
Yep, 28.
So
going on 29. Well, no, he's 28. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's right on the cusp. He's right on that fringe level of his last big contract, and I think his contract is up after next season. So you're talking about a guy who's probably going to be looking at upwards of $30 million. That's tough for me. I mean, I know you could do a lot of stuff. Everybody talks about how Bino got it. Yeah, Bino, I'm gonna call him that. He got it done with Khalil Shakir to be very team friendly and actually gain money on the cap, which I thought we knew was going to happen anyway. So I don't know why we're lauding that. You know, that was the whole point. That was the goal of it.
Well, here's the strategy that Jeremy White laid out, and I think this would work for a guy like Metcalf. He talked a lot about the contract structures that the Eagles use where they backload a lot of their deals, right? I wouldn't mind if the Bills did something like that and just gave Metcalf a 5-year deal and backloaded the mess out of it. You know what I'm saying? Let him, like, you can Bean is a guy that knows how to play around with the money.
Yeah, I'm worried about him. Only because I could see, you know, DK Metcalf in 5 years will be 33. Avoidable years to diminish the $45 million cap hit. The only good thing about it is if we don't have another pandemic or anything like that where the cap can keep going up, it'll be easily absorbable.
Right. That's the plan. You know, and I think we're seeing more and more teams start to, go, get into that kind of.
Yeah, as Mac would say, we got to have that Bobby Bonilla, Shohei Ohtani kind of contract where he's making $40 million for the next however many years in order to get it done. So
real quick, I'm sorry, June. Did you restore the A10 before we started? Can you just do that real quick? Just hop on the software and just restore it. All it's going to do is fix the sound. We're having a sound issue. No, go to let me see. Yeah, I can't do it on here. You got to go to File and then Restore. And then you're going to pick the podcast setting. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm not going to say all it's going to do. I don't want a Bonilla day with in 2042 when we're talking about we still got to pay DK Metcalf.
Yeah, but it won't matter. The cap is going to be so high, it don't matter.
I hope.
Okay, we should be back now.
We're back?
Because you reset it. It went off? Yeah. Okay, that's
all right,
fine.
so yeah, like I said, I'm going to rehash what I said.
Yeah, go ahead.
With DK Metcalf, I'm just afraid they're going to push everything down line and something happens and the salary cap doesn't go up. We talked about that. So we talked about it. You said we're hoping it raises up, and I'm just trying to, I'm trying to stay where we're supposed to be. But
okay.
But yeah, no, we if we're going to win a Super Bowl within the next 5 or so years, fine. It's easy to digest. You say we're rebuilding.
Well, according to the AI program, we are going to win it in the next 5 years, but we're only going to win it once in the next 10, which is crazy.
Oh, well, I mean, no dynasty here, but I mean,
look, even if we're not a dynasty where we're winning, 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, can we get 3 and 7? You know what I'm saying?
Get to it in 7, at least get to it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Like there should be no reason why with the quarterback that we have, we're not able to put a team together that helps him do enough to score enough points to beat anybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? I guess that's kind of why I landed on DK Metcalf as like the guy we got to go get, because essentially if you're thinking that Myles Garrett is going to solve the defense's problems, you're forgetting that pretty much all the good players we have on defense are now going to be gone. Like Von Miller is probably going to get cut for the money.
We'll see him in a couple of days. I think if he's not cut within a week, I'll say he's going to be here. Well, yeah, a week, because from the legal tampering period, and they're going to do goodwill faith. Mm-hmm. They'll cut him so he can go find somebody else early.
Right.
So if he's not going within a week or so, I think the plan is for him to be here. There's something behind the scenes we don't know about.
Free agency starts Tuesday.
That's what I'm saying.
The legal tampering
starts
Monday, so
a week from yesterday.
He's got like 4 days, right?
Yeah,
right.
So if they don't cut him within the next week, I think he's going to be a Bill. I think they know something if they don't get rid of him soon. Because you look at Lockett got cut.
Yeah.
Metcalf asked for a trade. So there's things happening, and we're not hearing anything about Von Miller yet. You always hear a rumor of some sort.
Yeah.
So
has Von Miller reached the situational pass rusher status where you pay a guy like that way less, and you expect him to come in on key third down situations and just be a pass rusher?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard. Who was it? Was it McDermott or was it Bean? One of them addressed why he didn't play as much as he was supposed to play.
Oh, what did they say?
They said he was supposed to be a third down, pass rusher, but there just weren't enough third downs. They said, so basically what happened was he was supposed to have more snaps, but they never got to the situation.
Wasn't good enough for him to have a
that's
role.
That's what they're saying. They're saying
crazy.
Yeah, they're like, we had a plan for him to play a lot more, but we thought we were going to force a lot more. We didn't. So he had to sit on the bench.
Wow.
But they said the same thing about Milano too, so that tells you everything you need to know. So I think Von Miller was amicable to that because he still was lauding the team. He was still, part of the process, if you will. He wasn't a hothead. He's old enough to do what he wants. He can say what he wants. What's going to happen to him? Nothing. He's 36 years old. He's made all the money he needs to make. You cut him. You slander him. He's got his money. He's out of here.
Yeah.
So I think there's something behind the scenes we don't know. We'll see in a week or so.
Okay. All right. When it comes to the rest of the strategy, though, do you think free agency should be touched? How can I phrase this? Because I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put into place what the strategy, because we've gone through what the strategy would be for Myles Garrett and just no Myles Garrett at all. We haven't even talked about what it would be for DK Metcalf being on the team, right? Mm-hmm. With the cap going up as high as it did, I think it went up by the max that it could. With some of the other moves that the Bills still have to make, they can restructure the deal with Josh and extend him and open up a decent amount of money. They've got the Von Miller, situation to revisit. They have, I think, the Knox deal. They can probably go back and take a look at if they, maybe want to rework that deal or extend or trade him or something.
They can maybe cut David Edwards. They can do something with McGovern. They can. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. The Khalil Shakir move was already made. Christian Benford, I don't think you really can do a lot with that.
Yeah.
Because he was already making next to nothing because he's a 6th-round draft pick. But yeah,
the 7th-round tackle we drafted last year. You think he could play guard?
You talking about Grable?
Yeah.
No. I think
he's doing pretty good at tackle.
He's good at tackle. That's the thing. He's athletic. So
okay.
I think that's where you want to put him.
Okay.
But yeah, I think.
But he's not a man mover.
No, I don't think. I wouldn't put him there.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so when it comes to the rest of the strategy around this DK Metcalf build of the Buffalo Bills, right? Mm-hmm. I think one of the other things that needs to happen is you need to figure out what you're going to do with Dawson Knox, because if you're going to have Kincaid beef up, then that means you probably have to be looking at him as your primary, number one. You just got to bring it down.
Oh.
Grab it and bring it straight down.
Okay. I'm like, what the freak?
Yeah, playing around on my screen.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There we go.
That would mean you have to be, to some degree, looking at Dawson Knox being your number one guy. And Dawson Knox is not the prototypical tight end. He's a split tight end. You know what I'm saying? And from what the Bills have said and shown, they like all of this traditionalist building of the team. They like the old school. We want a fullback in there. We want a blocking tight end. Tight ends don't catch passes unless it's a last resort. We don't. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to play college offense. This is the NFL and blah blah blah. Like that's where they're forcing Kincaid to go. But if they do that, that essentially makes Dawson Knox expendable, right? And for $13 million or whatever he's making this year, it's a bit too much for the role that he's had, right? So the first thing that I think would need to happen in this DK Metcalf build is you've got to figure out what you're going to do with Dawson Knox. And if you trade him, that does open up some money for you, right? I don't know how much that is. If you want to look that up, great. But I think that turns the attention back over to, okay, what else do we have around Josh Allen that makes his job easy, right? You're saying pay Cook. Okay, so we got DK Metcalf, we've paid Cook, and now we're in a position to deal Dawson Knox, right? Which is what I think should happen. If you're gonna go the way of forcing Kincaid into a box, then Knox is expendable. What does that put as the priority on defense? Because essentially what you're doing now is you're building a team that is going to get into wars every week. It's shootouts every week. You know what I'm saying? So does that make a playmaking defensive end more valuable? Does that make a playmaking corner more valuable? Because if a team's going to be throwing the ball more, don't you want a guy on the back end that's going to shut down half the field and make things kind of easy on a defense?
I'm so excited about this draft. And anybody that wants to know what my thoughts of it, follow me on X or follow the can we say our show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Follow the Post Podium podcast channel because I do write-ups for draft picks. And actually I'm doing one for Josiah Stewart today. Okay. I actually did it at 4 o'clock in the morning and lost it all, so it was all for nothing. So yeah, I redid it, just got to add a couple things and it's going up today. But I think this draft is so exciting because I don't need to look at the first round where we're going to get everything. I don't even need the first round, honestly, because I got defensive ends in the second. I got us moving up in the third to get certain people if you want to. You got the draft picks. Why not?
Yeah.
You got defensive tackles that are eaters. They just eat anybody across from them in the fourth round. You got cornerbacks you can take in the first. They're all over the place. It's what you want. So for me this year, I think you can get everything you want. You can get your nose tackle, your bona fide nose tackle. You get your edge rusher, your cornerstone there. You can get a cornerback. You could have a defense after this draft.
So based on everything that you've seen so far, are you saying that the Bills could – how many starters do you think the Bills could come out with in this draft?
Depends on how stubborn they are.
How do you mean?
Are you going to say Daquan Jones is better than any rookie you bring in before you see him? Because Daquan Jones, and after he came back from his injury, was not the same Daquan Jones.
Well, we do know that the only player that's come in and started full time right off the bat for the Bills has been a corner, and he was a 4-year starter and a well-known, prominent leader on his team, and that was Trey White.
And that's why I don't put a first-round grade on any defensive player, because you figure, especially defensive line, which we're looking for the most, they're going to be in a rotation. You got Javon Solomon, you probably have Von Miller, you got Epinesa, you got Rousseau. They're all good. Well, Von maybe not, but all the rest of them will be there, and they're probably going to bring in a veteran too. Okay. So you're in a muck. So you're talking about 50 or so percent of the snaps you're going to play. So that's where Josiah Stewart fits in, because him and Javon Solomon are synonymous, if you will. They're compact. They're about 6'1", 6'2", 250, and they have this. I don't want to say that Stewart has the same pass ability as Solomon proved at Troy, but it was Troy versus Michigan. So who knows? Okay. To combat that, now you're looking at what are you going to do at defensive tackle. I got Deion Walker in the 4th round. I got Alfred Collins in the 2nd round. I got like we talked about C.J. West in the 5th round. So they're better, and these guys can come in right away in a rotation. None of these guys have to sit down unless you're really and that's why I say how stubborn are you going to be? If you're talking about corners and safeties, we're talking about Taylor Rapp and Christian Benford. I mean, and Cole Bishop. So if they want to bring back DeMar Hamlin at $2 million, fine. You need a safety anyway. You need depth.
Yeah.
But are you really going to say, Hamlin knows the system, Bishop knows the system, they have to start? Or are you going to say Xavier Watts? You might be better. Makuba, you might be it. Ooh, Eamon Worry, he fell to us. Should we take him? Or are we going to say, nah, we already got our guys. We need depth. You have to go for the blue chippers. So when you ask the question
let's say blue chippers are their focus, because that's what they've said. And so far, every time they've ended a season and said something in the press conference thereafter as to what they need, they usually focus on that early in the draft. They said they needed a receiver. They got one that was their first pick last year. They said they needed a pass catcher. They got a top pass catching tight end the year before that. They needed a corner. They filled up all the other holes they needed to fill, and they were left with this gaping hole at corner. They drafted a corner in the first round. So let's assume that based on what they said this year, they need playmakers. They need blue chippers. Who is that guy, or who are those guys that you can see them getting in every round? Like, based on all of that, who are the guys that they can get that we know are coming in and becoming starters?
If I am the Bills, the first round is contingent on how I see it falling.
Okay.
Now, are you going to do what you always do and sit on your hands and let it fall to you, or are you going to go and grasp it?
Let's assume that they just stay pat, because I think they have a lot of needs, and I think they know that on defense. So I can really see them holding on to these picks and maybe moving up for a third round pick.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's about it.
It'd be kind of ludicrous. You think we're talking about not moving into the top 15? We're talking about moving to 22.
Okay.
So depending on how it falls, I would say the way that Mike Green's combine results, his measurables came back, he might have thought. He played. He showed well, and everything else. He had 32 on the bench. He did whatever else, but he had 8.5 inch hands. He had 32-inch arms at 6'4". I don't know if you know what the anatomy is, but my arms are 37 inches. And I'm 6'6". So his arms are 5 inches shorter than mine. So his wingspan is almost a foot shorter than mine.
Wow.
So that tells you, when you look at measurables, as being said, we want the measurables. Forget all that. You want the playmaker. You want a guy that can go out there and do things. And I think Mike Green is that guy. And if he's there in the first round, if he falls to us, good. I also was looking at James Pierce. I don't know where he's falling. He's kind of weird too. One of those guys are going to go high. One of those are going to be around for the Bills to trade up. Like they did Kyer Elam or Dawson Knox. Second round, I have what I actually did was I actually went cornerback. Okay. And I don't remember which one I had. I know I did have Harrison from Kentucky before the combine. I think he's going to get overdrafted now, so I got to redo this. You're looking at maybe Trey Amos might be there, but I'm not too worried about cornerbacks yet. If I can get a defensive tackle in Alfred Collins or one of the other guys that kind of show on in the draft that may fall, let me get it. And the second, with the second pick, I'll probably take a linebacker. No, I don't want to pull my chart up because I just don't have the time for it. But I do have. You've seen a robust chart. Laura wants a copy. I can't give it to you. I'm sorry, I can't do it. But I think if you're looking at a lot of the tape, you have to look at my write-ups for the players. But I do think you'll get everything you need on defense and depth. And that's very important. Even if you trade up, you have 10, 11 picks. So even if you trade up, you're not trading the whole farm for a pick. And that takes me to the Myles Garrett point. What do you have to give up for Myles Garrett? What do you have to give up for Max Crosby? What do you have to give up for Khalil Mack? What do you have to give up? Probably a first rounder.
Yeah.
Why not be like Buffalo and trade for your future for a cost-controlled player? If you're trading up, I understand Myles Garrett's an anomaly. But what I just say, he's an anomaly. I understand Max Crosby, he's gone. 35.3 mil. What do you think Myles Garrett's going to get? Out of your price range. Forget about it. It's over. Now we're talking about, and this goes into my point. I wanted to touch on this because this drew into what you just said. Buffalo being Buffalo again in regards to why are we always chasing names? The dynamic of the old player. What is it about this team and the fan base that falls for the names? Why is it that every time we hear somebody's getting cut, the fans like, oh, shish. I said shish. Go get him, Bean. You hear that every time, right? Go get him. Every time somebody gets, you go on Twitter, you go on X, you go on Blue Sky, whatever you go on, and you see their face with a Bills jersey on. Why?
So I'm gonna tell you why, and I learned this a couple of different ways, right? When you look at, Laura said, breaking my heart again with the spreadsheets. You might have to just send her your work for every episode.
She can proof it.
Yeah, right.
You proof it and send it back.
So what I learned this through the flat out business industry, and I also learned this through the music business industry, doing some things here in Buffalo. This city, for some reason, doesn't respect its own. And what's crazy about it is not even as big as a borough in New York City, right? But when you come up from New York City, when you come up from a borough, everybody in your borough backs you. You know what I'm saying? When you coming up from New Orleans, people in New Orleans, they hear you, they want to push you because you repping New Orleans. If you coming up from Buffalo is just like, who? I don't know you. Well, yeah, that's the point. Nobody knows me.
Yeah.
But listen to my stuff. I'm good.
Talented.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make, and I know you don't have a lot of time. The point I'm trying to make is there's this they call it the crab theory, where it's very difficult to make it from inside the city. You have to leave, make it work outside the city, then come back, and people love you. And Benny the Butcher is the latest, greatest example of that. Like, I didn't hear nothing about Benny when he was here. Then he left and started doing shows in Cali and working with a bunch of labels and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden, everybody was like, oh, Benny this, Benny that. But who knew about Benny? All the people that was around him. All the people that was watching him do shows and was hearing his stuff early. You know what I'm saying? And for me, both in business and music business, it's very difficult to find those people that believe in what you're doing and are willing to back you and push you to the point where you can blow up in the city on your own. Like, there's not a lot of people willing to do that here. So, and it sucks because it's a small town. It's supposed to be like that. We're supposed to look out for each other. But that's why. Yeah. When we look at our own players, it's like, all right, he's cool because he got a Bills jersey on, but who is he really?
I mean, the thing about it is everybody talks about this team as a Super Bowl contender. Everybody talks about Josh Allen. But are we not above sloppy seconds? Khalil Mack now, everybody talks about bring him home. He's not from Buffalo. He's from Vera, I think it's Vera, Florida. I know it's Florida. But the thing is, when you talk about Khalil Mack, why would he come to Buffalo? He already said he wanted to stay in L.A. He's going to come to Buffalo and be what, in a rotation? He's going to come to Buffalo and take a pay cut to develop the next guys? No. His market value, I don't know if you looked this up, but Spotrac got him at $23 million, Khalil Mack.
What?
Yes, $23 million. PFF has him at $21 million.
I mean, he had a good season last year.
He really did. He had 5 sacks last year.
I know, but that was better than what he was doing in Chicago.
Well, that's my point. Are we willing to give a guy, like, what are we going for? If we're talking about Myles Garrett, you get it. If we're talking about Max Crosby, you get it. Guys south of 30, guys that had double-digit sack production, and then you're talking about a guy that's 34 years old who you want to give money to because he's from Buffalo, big quotation marks, and I did exercise here.
Okay.
What year was Josh Allen drafted?
2018.
2018. Perfect. Who was our quarterback? Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Now, if we took this logic in 2018, you know what would have happened? Let's take a stroll down memory lane. Who was available at quarterback? 30-year-old Kirk Cousins. Guess what? That was the year he got that fully guaranteed contract. You are now hamstrung to Kirk Cousins for whatever it is. You're out of money. You're not getting Josh. Okay? Too rich for our blood. Whatever. Guess who else there is? Case Keenum. Remember him? 2017.
Right.
He threw for 3,500 yards, 22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He made some decent scratch to go to Denver, where he threw for 3,700 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions in 2018, the year we got Josh Allen.
Okay.
Will we have signed up for that at 30? I think he was 30 at the time. He's 37 now. How about we talk about the resurgence of Sam Bradford, who was available that year, who got $20 million on a one-year contract? You know what he did? He missed all but 3 games in that season, in the 2017 season. Behind a torn, I think it was an ankle or Achilles, AC something. He got $20 million to stink up the joint in Arizona. Guess what? If you would have hamstrung yourself to Sam Bradford, you wouldn't have Josh Allen.
True.
So my point is, why are we not looking at the draft to try to see if we can get that next Josh Allen? Why are we sitting on our hands again when we have all these draft picks? We know we only need defense. Go ahead and get yourself one. Go get yourself one of those game records. Go get yourself Eamon Ward. Go get yourself Malachi Starks. Go get yourself somebody. Obviously, Will Johnson is not happening. Obviously,
no,
Travis Hunter is not happening. So let's get that out of our minds. But there are other guys.
I would contend that the Bills believe that they have their guy that you would trade up for in Greg Rousseau. So I think that makes them content to just sit back and wait for whoever lands there.
The guy they about to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the guy they want to pair Khalil Mack with, that's going to cost the same as Rousseau. Yeah, no. But the point is, Josh is bad his second year, his first year. He wasn't good. I dare anybody to tell me he was good. He wasn't. His third year, we're like, uh-oh, we might need to look for another quarterback. We don't know. But in comes, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to ruin this show as well. But in comes somebody who helped Josh, and Josh helped him. They had a symbiotic relationship, and we saw a meteoric rise. Josh stayed on that trajectory, and another guy got old, and he helped another guy until he tore himself up. But the point is, the light goes on. He got master coaching, a real weapon. They helped him. They gave him stuff. You need to identify somebody and give them stuff. If it's Ed Oliver, give him Alfred Collins, give him Deion Walker, give him somebody that's going to eat 2 blocks so he can go get to town.
Yeah.
If you're going to develop around Christian Benford, give him some safeties. If you're going to develop around a cornerback that's a rookie, give him help. Give him anything. Terrell Bernard was not good this year. Give him something. He was your captain. McDermott said the reason why Bernard wasn't good is because Bernard was overthinking the C on his chest.
Yeah.
That's not a bad problem to have. It's going to slow down. See, now he's a rookie. He's a rookie captain now. Mm-hmm. So in year 2, the light bulb should come on again and say, oh, you know what? I've been here before. I belong. I'm the captain now.
Right.
He showed he can play. That's why he got to see.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think where that lands us is if the goal is to get cornerstone players, if the goal is to get guys that are going to be here for 10 years or longer, then you have to be willing to do what you did to get Josh Allen, to get those guys too. And what we've seen in this Bills team is either a lack of confidence or an overconfidence. And when I say lack of confidence, a lack of confidence that you know the guy they're moving up to get is going to become that guy, which is more about a disconnect between your GM and the scouts. And if it's overconfidence, it's, well, we feel like we can develop whoever we bring in here. Yeah. And it doesn't matter whether or not we move up to go get that guy.
Yeah, I'm a negative on that train of thought. I know that's not you, but yeah. I'm negative.
It's not. You can't justify that line of thinking. You can't.
The way I see it, go get Jahdae Barron. Case closed. You're good. Cornerback, safety, nickel out of Texas. He plays all 3 at a high clip. Go grab him up. He's a character guy. Him and even we were talking about a guy, they prayed together before. McDermott loves that. I don't think he wrestled. Who cares? That's the one not. Maybe he has a notebook. I don't know. Maybe he likes his jackets because it's cold in Buffalo, but, whatever. Or maybe he has a yellow bubble that we can relate to. Chocolate cookies maybe. I don't know. But the guy can play. If you want to be a safety, put him there. If you want to be a cornerback, put him there. It's your choice. And at this point, you can't lose. Go grab him in the first round.
Yeah. I'll take it. Okay, last order of business. So with all this money that's flying around in free agency, right? Because I think this is going to be insane. I think the amount of money that we're going to see guys get paid. I want to bring the conversation back to left guard. And here's why. When you look at what David Edwards has given us, he is how old right now?
27?
Yeah, he's like 27, 28 years old, somewhere around there, right? And he's a decent run blocker and a decent pass blocker, right? If the Bills sign Cook, which we think they should, do they need to then focus in even more on the offensive line build? or do you go into this free agency thinking we don't need to upgrade anything on the offensive line? And I got somewhere I'm going with this. I got a point behind this.
Yeah, I mean, you're not getting in the draft. It's not happening. Draft is definitely not going to happen.
Okay.
So you're that's closed.
But
Free
Alex
agency, I
Kappa's
don't know.
gone. The Raiders got him.
What's that? Oh, Kappa, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's available in free agency, but I'm looking at Alex Henderson. I'm looking at do you have to move McGovern back to guard? Do you put Van Pran at guard? Do you put him at center? Is a player on this roster and we just don't know it yet because they're stubborn? I don't know. So where are you going with it though?
So you got guys like Patrick McCarry that are available at guard. James Daniels is a guy that's available for guard. He played in Pittsburgh. His market value I don't think is going to be that high because their offensive line wasn't that. Yeah, so you can get him for about $7.8 million a year and probably less than that. But that was an offensive line that I think was not as bad as people thought. I just thought they had bad quarterback play. Mekhi Becton is 25. He played for the Eagles. He showed that he can play very, very well at guard. I mean, he played left tackle. I don't see why he couldn't play left guard.
He's 370-something pounds. I mean, you can put him and block the moon. It doesn't matter.
Right. And when you look at Mekhi Becton's market value, I mean, look, he still kind of got dinged up in that Super Bowl. But you're talking about a guy that you can give $10 million to and not have to worry about it at all for the next 4 years, right? You got rid of your strength and conditioning guy because guys were getting a little too hurt, which means you've reinvested in that department, which means you should be able to make sure that Mekhi Becton can stay healthy. At guard, he's going to have way less wear and tear in terms of pass blocking, and now you've completely shored up the backside of the backside of your quarterback. And here's the other part of this, and this is why I'm like really going for Mekhi Becton right now. Having a guy that big allows Deion Dawkins to play on an island, and that's what he needs to be able to do to be that elite left tackle that he can be, right? If he's got to consistently and constantly worry about trying to cover for Edwards because Edwards is not that athletic and he's not technically sound as a pass blocker, it's gonna handcuff what Deion Dawkins can do on a regular basis, right? It also does not help that Connor McGovern is not the best in the world. So you got to do something to shore up. You either got to, and you're not getting rid of Connor McGovern. David Edwards is the only one with a contract that you can really afford to get rid of at this point.
Yeah.
So do it now. Get Mekhi Becton in there. Make the investment. But here's why I bring it up. This team, and I've seen a lot of fans say this about the offensive line. The offensive line is great. We just need to get a receiver and this and that and the other thing. Why should we rest on what's been good? Right? The mentality of a winner is consistent improvement. No matter what. Right? We decided that the strength and conditioning guy that's been here since 2013 ain't good enough. We need to upgrade that guy, even though we've had injuries way before this year. If it was going to be him, then it needed to be him 3 years ago when Matt Milano was getting hurt like crazy. You get what I'm saying? So we have to stop letting good get in the way of great. The mindset needs to be we need to continue to strive for the best. We need to continue to strive to get the best players on this team to have the best chance to accomplish what we want to accomplish. And it starts with everything that Sean said, which was we need blue chippers. I'm sorry, David Edwards is not a blue chipper. Connor McGovern might be a step above that, maybe, but we've got to consistently look at positions that we can upgrade, and I think upgrading offense this season is much more important than whatever we can do on defense because the defense is going to be young whether we invest in it or not. We don't have enough money to pay an entire defense. And when I say pay an entire defense, we don't have enough money to buy an entire defense.
No.
So we're going to have to draft it. It's going to be young. It's going to make mistakes. So the investment, if we're smart, needs to be on offense. We need to back up Josh Allen and give him everything he needs to be able to carry this team along with everybody that he has around him.
Yeah, I think that's important. You said I'm going to close here, but I think actually I'm going to close after saying two things. Dawson not being traded would be a $2 million savings. David Edwards and Connor McGovern are both 28. And to your point about the defense, if you have a young defense, this is what makes the difference. It's not that they're going to make mistakes, but it's that they're going to fly around the field. Are you going to be the team that's going to allow them to do so? Like I always say on our other show, we want to move. We're young. We don't want to stand there still. We want to get after it. Are you going to let them? Because you know you're going to get gashed. But if you let them go after, pin their ears back with no remorse for the guy across from them, you're going to make plays too. Plays we haven't seen that defense make since Poirier and Hyde first got here. And they mask a lot of stuff. Think about having 5 or 6 guys like Poirier that make plays like that. I'll take all the mistakes you want to give me if we got offense that scores 30 points a game in that.
Right. All right. We got to get out of here. We started a couple of minutes late, and we're getting out of here a couple of minutes late. But we got an hour in. Sorry we couldn't take longer, but we're trying to, work on, making this show a condensed, powerful, impactful hour for people, to give you something to chew on in the middle of the week.
That was tough.
Yeah, that was very tough. But I like the challenge.
Sucks. No.
All right, look. We're here with you every Wednesday on the Buffalo Media Network, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. So make sure you tune into that. Make sure you check out everything else that we got going on the Buffalo Media Network. We are steady growing, steady getting better, steady coming with the best content in the city. And you already know where to find us. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you like to follow Buffalo Media Network. Get with them. Get in now while it's still growing and bubbling, so you can say, "Hey, I was there when they first started." Now's the time to get in and follow. Okay. Again, if you want to get a hold of myself and Key, you can either get to us on this podcast. You can also follow us on the Post Podium Podcast. We have a channel on YouTube. We have social media all over the place. I think it's Post Podium Pod on Twitter. That's probably the most popular one that people follow us on. So you can hit us there at Post Podium Pod. We are on TikTok. Yeah. Post Podium Podcast is on TikTok. Yeah. So look. We love rapping with y'all. Buffalo Media Network says, great to have you guys here. Thanks for everything, guys. Yeah, we appreciate you for having us on, man. Thank you, Sweat. Says, great show. Mark says, love it. Congrats, guys. Be good, too good. Love life and go Bills. Yes. All right. We're going to go ahead and get out of here, and you guys have a great rest of your week. Go Bills.
I'll see you on Monday.